What age did you do this? Alright, play along at home. Focused vision. Average age 3 months. So babies can finally start seeing their parents. It takes 3 months before a baby can see their own parents. You get them lizards that hatch out of their eggs and they instantly have to race across a snake-filled beach in order to survive, whereas us humans can't even see anything for the first 3 months of our existence. Right, what's next? Teething. That takes 4 months. Eating solid food? It takes us 5 months before we can eat solid food. Humans are pathetic. It takes us 6 months before we can sit up straight. Oh my god. Say first word, 1 year. Alright, well, that's fair enough. I don't know what my first word was. Do you know what yours was? Let me know in the comments. On average, you can walk by the time you're 1 year old, and at 4 years old, you have an imaginary friend. Oh my god, I've not thought about my imaginary friends I had so many imaginary friends. Maybe the issue is I didn't have any real friends. Ride a bike, average 5 years old. Bit embarrassing. Don't think I learned to ride a bike until I was like 13. My granddad and my dad tried to teach me to ride a bike when I was younger, but I wasn't instantly amazing at it, so I like threw a tantrum and I got the hell out of there and I refused to learn for the next 7 years of my life. Lose first teeth, 6 years old. Ah, Tooth Fairy will visit shortly. 20p under the pillow the next morning, do not mind if I do. Start reading at 7 years old. I think I was probably at about that. Stop believing in Santa Claus at 7 years old. Whoa, hold on a second. In our family house, we had a tradition on Christmas Eve where Santa would bring us an early Christmas present, and it was always a DVD that was wrapped up in Christmas paper, and then we'd like watch the film on Christmas Eve. It was a little tradition. But like 3 years ago, for the first time, my mum didn't bother wrapping the DVD that she'd bought from Tesco 2 hours earlier, and me and my 36-year-old brother made her feel so guilty about it. Average 10 years old, you get your first phone. That's probably still about accurate, isn't it? I don't think I got a phone until I was 13, but that was a long time ago these days. I understand there's more of a need for a phone at this point. Start puberty 12 years old. I wish. I'm not convinced I started puberty until I was in college. Here's a picture of 15-year-old Jack. 15 years old. Body insecurities, 12 years old. Oh yeah, shocker. What's that you didn't think prepubescent 12-year-old Jack, who looked about 4 years younger than all of his classmates, didn't have body insecurity? Alright then. Start period, average 12 years of age. Still waiting on mine. Start touching yourself, 13 years of age. We'll move on from that one. Watch R-rated movies, 13 years of age. We'll move on from that one as well. First kiss, 14 years of age. Oh, I should be so lucky. I think I was 18. First trip out of the country. Hey, I went to Turkey when I was 3. Apparently, I remember none of it. But thinking about it, I feel sorry for everyone who was sat near me on the plane. Smoked cigarettes. Average 15 years of age. Never smoked cigarettes. Average 16 years of age. Fall in love for the first time. So when I was in secondary school, I thought that I'd fall in love, but I definitely had not fallen in love. First time I fell in love was, of course, when I met my lovely girlfriend, Editor Becky. And that's what I call her, Editor Becky. 16 years of age, try illegal substances. I'll leave that kind of thing to Turd Boy 420. People on average lose their virginity at the age of 17. I am comfortable in saying that I was older than that when I lost my virginity. Have first drink, 18 years of age. I think I was 16 when I had my first Foster's Gold. And it was horrible, but I couldn't tell anyone that I thought it was horrible, so I just had to keep forcing it down. Attend Universität, 18 years old. That makes sense that that's the average. We have not yet done that. First relationship was at 18. My first real relationship did start at 18 for me. I don't think we can count relationships that I had when I was 15 that only took place over MSN. Say I love you for the first time, 18 years of age. Yeah, I did that one. I think I was 18 when I moved out. First breakup, not happened yet. Yes. First full-time job, 20 years of age. So when did I start YouTube full-time? I guess it was when I finished college, because I'd been doing YouTube for a couple of years while I was still going. So I'll have been 17 or 18. My first car. There's nothing like the freedom of having your first car. You do have so much more freedom once you learn to drive. I recommend people learn to drive as soon as they can. I think I was 20 years old when I bought my first car. Lovely little Citroen C1. Thank you very much. Apparently, you're more social at 25 years of age. Yeah, here I am sat by myself recording comparison videos. And on average, people get married when they're 26. Some girls dream about this day from early childhood. Move in with partner, taking the relationship to the next level. When did me and Becky move in together? I think we were 18, you know, which is that is young. And we'd only been together for about 6 months at the time. But it all worked out. Here we are, 8 years later. Have a first child at 29. Alright, thanks. Wrinkles start appearing at age 30. Well, that's nice. And then you get divorced at age 30, so that's something to look forward to. Buy first house at an average age of 32. I'm sure that number is rising all of the time. And then you become a millionaire at age 37. Guaranteed. There you go. But then you get grey hair at 40. So far, no grey hairs. Occasionally get like a weird white one, but I think that's like a skin issue as opposed to just me getting old. Because it's white like plastic rather than grey like grey hair. Anyway, apparently when you are 41 is when you are the highest earning that you'll ever be in your life. Enjoy your many years of work, your earning is peaking. Oh, great, good to know. Oh, and then at age 45 is the peak of unhappiness. At this age, people feel the most unhappy. Life doesn't necessarily get any easier. Well, that's lovely, isn't it? Oh, and then, oh, and then we have a midlife crisis at age 50. That's great. Oh, but you become grandparents at 53, but then your parents die at 55. Oh, but hey, don't worry. Then you retire at 64 years of age, and then you have to get hip replacement surgery. My knee's already giving me a bit of jip, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, well, that's nice. That's a nice way to end. 70 years of age is apparently your average peak of happiness. Oh, but then you die. Alright, well... Oh, I laughed too loud and I've annoyed my dog. Sorry, Cog. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Link to watch data in the comments down below. Subscribe so we can get to 1 million subscribers, and I'll see you later.